हेलो नमस्कार वेलकम टू बन मस्का। मैं कहानियों का सौदागर और आज फिर एक नया सौदा लाया हूँ कहानी के तौर पर। सौदा है तो लेन देन तो होगा ही। मैं आपको दूंगा एक कहानी और बदले में लूंगा आपसे आपका वक्त। कहानी के चलते चलते आपको एहसास तो हो ही जाएगा कि सौदा फायदे का रहा। Noshir showed Christine a black and white photograph of his old home surrounded by trees and bushes. He narrated further. Living in a countryside like surroundings can be a soulful experience, and most of the time, being close to nature works like a soothing and healing balm. I never had a say in home territory, but outside the four walls, I had made a world of my fancy. The mango tree I climbed up barefoot with a monkey-like ace. My friends who trusted me to be their uncontested leader and gave into my silly plans without any resistance. My pet dog Kalu, who managed to understand me in spite of no language for communication. And the open fields which gave me the feeling I could fly in any direction, soaking in the abundance of nature all around me. Last day of exams and I would hop out of the school bus to keep my bag away and climb the mango tree where freshly unripe mangoes were waiting to be picked by me, which I and my friends would cut into pieces and eat it with salt and red chili powder borrowed from the ration shop. I suppose most of our country kids find solace in cricket. I too may have found some in it. We played on for hours till our calls came, first in form of a gentle, "Come for lunch," then, "Food is getting cold," and later, "Are you coming or shall I come out?" And we would all run into our homes with a pact of coming back within a few hours. Kalu was a stray who initially would come for the leftovers and probably took liking to our doorstep since the leftovers were a feast in itself. There was so much trust between the two of us. I would let my entire tiny little hand go into his open, sharp-teethed jaw without a trace of fear or doubt, and Kalu would reciprocate it with simply licking it with wholehearted affection. Strangely, as much as he liked the fish bones and meat, he loved chapatis. He would always eat half of the number and other half he would carry in his mouth and bury it in a hole. Probably he was wise, or maybe did not trust his luck too much. Life outside home was simple, uncomplicated, and as beautiful as the landscape I was a part of. Inside home, it was messy, weird, and complex. Our childhood and teenage years that we spend with our biological family, that family, the selection of which we had no role in, can shape up our understanding and handling of relationships for our entire remaining life. I lived in the West and she in the East. We were not only separated by a railway crossing, but also by culture. Our paths were meant to meet, in spite of the places we came from. 6th of August, Aabha walked into my life. We were 18, lost and lonely. Our lives were going to change forever. Some more wine into the glasses. The moonlight hovered over the waves which weren't visible, but their sound could be heard. Aabha continued. I had no friends, not that I was an introvert, but simply because I demanded as much as I gave in a friendship. So not many could fill the bill, but books did. I read almost anything and everything. The poems that my dad wrote, the sexually adulterated books which my aunt would give my mom to read, the side effects leaflet that came with medicine bottles, and whatever I could. Later, during my college years, the library became my other home. I found my solace in words written by others. While the other kids would jump with joy on completion of the last exam of the final semester, I would dread it days before. For me, it meant that I had to visit my maternal side and go through the grueling experience of traveling in an overcrowded train without reservation, where I would be assigned a place to sit mostly in some unknown lady's lap or besides an equally unfamiliar strange man, face the constant abuse of my nanny, who would remind us of how our father was a complete failure and that being born as a feminine gender was a curse. Curse it was for sure. The mangoes were to be collected and laid on the wooden floor amidst dried grass. But I wasn't allowed to eat more than one, while the boys of the house, the future men, could eat as many they wanted. All of them would get a glass of milk at bedtime, but I would simply be told to go to sleep since the next morning the otla had to be cleaned before everyone would wake up. Surprisingly, all this humiliation I, woman of tomorrow, was subjected to by other women of the house, my nanny, my aunts, and my mother. I still managed to sneak in the heaps of mangoes at times and ate an extra one. That one would be the sweetest of them all. I lived in the east and he in the west. We were not only separated by a railway crossing, but also by culture. Our paths were meant to meet, in spite of the places we came from. 6th of August, Noshir walked into my life. We were 18, naive and lonely. Our lives were going to change forever. Bun Maska. Untold Parsi stories of love, heartbreak, pain, grief, happiness, laughter, tears and triumph. This is the non-confirming Parsi and you are listening to Bun Maska. Kisse Kahaaniyan bas. Stories of a Parsi by a Parsi for the world to listen.